They start talking about Rufus, and they speculate that, remember how in chapter 4, Rufus tries to cut a deal with them, that they take out Sephiroth and he'll leave them alone, basically? So right here, they start to speculate that that offer probably would have come back to bite them in the end, because they weren't able to go forward with the offer because Yuffie tried to assassinate Rufus. It didn't work out. Rufus blamed them, blah, blah, blah.
I think she did us a favor. Nothing good ever came from making deals with the devil. Shinra can't be trusted, no matter who's in charge.
He's absolutely right, because if you think about it, like, you have Rufus Shinra, right, who's now the president and CEO of, like, the largest corporation in the world or whatever. Like, he's the equivalent of, like, the president of the United States. He's like basically the most powerful individual on the planet. Why would he make a deal with a bunch of eco-terrorists to take out Sephiroth? What threat does Sephiroth pose to him?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions there.
Right? So it's one of those, like, wait a minute. So we have this guy, Rufus Shinra, that we don't really like. And then Sephiroth, we also don't like. But the two are opposed to each other. So this is almost one of those situations where, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but some of our audience will get this. Like, if you're in one of these, what do they call them? Like Fortnite and a battle royale game. This is like one of those moments where, like, you're running through and you see two people duking it out. Like, you have a choice at that moment. You can either engage in that fight and end up in a three-way fight, or you let the two of them fight each other. One of them dies, the other one's weakened, and then you pick the weaker one off and take everything anyway.
Right.
So, like, to me, they were painting the situation of, like, well, why don't we just let them two go at it? And then whoever ends up winning, they're in a weakened state, we'll take the other one down.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I interpreted that whole scene and trying to make the deal. Like, I think Rufus is really threatened by Sephiroth in some way, and probably some of that has to do with the Glenn Lodbrok scene exchange there, because I think he's kind of under the thumb of Sephiroth in some weird ways, or is threatened by him. And so I think that he knows that Cloud is capable of taking out Sephiroth, and probably more capable than Rufus is.
Oh,
right?
For sure. Absolutely.
So it's interesting. There's a lot of questions I have around that, even having finished the game. So I'm hoping they'll be answered in the third installment. But I think that the way that they've portrayed Rufus in Rebirth is, and in Remake, but especially Rebirth, is so much more multidimensional and interesting than the way he was portrayed in the original game, where he's just like some snooty guy who, like, throws his hair back and is like one note, black and white. Here, it's like you wonder if he has a conscience, at least, and then you wonder what his strategy and motivations are, and if he is as black and white as we thought in the original.
I think at the end of the day, his motivation is the same as any other person of power. It's to preserve that power.
Preserve it, yep.
I think he realized is that Sephiroth wants to make him pay for the sins of Shinra, and since he's now at the top of the organization, guess who gets to pay for it?
Very possibly.
So he's just trying to figure out, like, how do I get out of this mess, right?
Right.
And I think that's what he was angling for here.